salty Gulf Coast to the rolling high plains, to the piney woods in the east. All across our dear Texas, folks need good food to eat. Our farmers and ranchers are heroes. They've always made Texas great. Texas agriculture matters. It's the heart of the Lone Star State. Oh, Texas got it all, y'all.
Well, howdy, neighbors. I'm your Texas Agriculture Commissioner, Sid Miller. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Texas Agriculture Matters right here on RFD-TV. Now today, we're going to talk about some of the Lone Star State's vegetables that just can't be beat. It's no secret that Texas farmers have a focus on growing high-quality goods. More than 600 specialty crops are grown in the Lone Star State. Now, rich soil, temperature, climate, and moderate rainfall, they all influence growers and researchers across the state to develop uniquely Texas produce. As one of the largest producers of fresh vegetables in the United States, Texas produce, it's always in season. You can find many varieties of products like cabbage, carrots, mushrooms, spinach, and almost anything else all year long coming from Texas. This is especially true in the Rio Grande Valley, where vegetables and citrus farms operate year-round. Now remember what your mother always said, eat your vegetables, son. And she was right. Eating vegetables provides great health benefits. Vegetables also pack a lot of nutrition. You can find vitamins and minerals like vitamin C and A and fiber and potassium in each helping. However, no single vegetable provides all the nutrients you need, so be sure and eat a good variety of vegetables every day, just like your mom said. Now, let's join Tammy Arnder as she visits Tanaza Organics. It's a local family farm in the Rio Grande Valley that grows certified organic produce. These healthy vegetables are just another way, folks. You got it. Texas Agriculture Matters.
Tanaza Organics produces a lot of product for its clientele.
We grow on about 224 acres of land. We grow winter vegetables, so it's cilantro, parsley, kale, beets, collards, broccoli. Those are most of the items we carry. Red Swiss chard as well.
Jed Murray notes some of the largest cities in America are in Texas. That means there are a lot of consumers and clients to keep happy.
We have three main customers. They're here in the state of Texas. They're retailers, so we sell direct to them. We harvest ourselves, we cool it, and then we ship it. So we're very fortunate.
His farm sells about 8,000 boxes a week. A box of cilantro has 30 pieces, and 1,000 or so boxes means a lot of cilantro goes out in the Lone Star State. And Texas is a great place for an organic farmer for a number of other reasons. This includes the pros for farming in the Rio Grande Valley, right on the southern border, where Murray's business operates.
It's good because it's the proximity to our customer base. Obviously, the valley is good because it's during the winter it's warm. I mean, we just had a cold front, but you're still like mid-70s during the daytime, mid-50s to high 60s. So it's the perfect time and weather for vegetables to grow. Obviously, summer's way too hot, too much humidity. So the winter is really what makes it really good for us to produce crops.
But like anything, there are also challenges with operating in this part of the state, and it moves the calendar back for some of those farming here.
Insects. Those are always any farmer's challenge is insects. But because we don't have any freezes, and like hard cold freezes or snow, our insect pressure is year round. The other is humidity and moisture, so it produces a lot of disease. Conventionally, a lot of farmers can start planting in July. We wait until almost October because we're waiting for that cold spell to start or the cooler weather to slow down the insect cycles. That way we can get ahead of the insects. The other guys have chemicals and insecticides that have a longevity you can put out for 14 days or 30 days and it'll control the insects. We don't have the ability to do that organically, so we've got to wait for it to cool off a little bit.
He says there's another issue that just never seems to go away.
Weeds, kind of like a generational sin. If you let them go to flower and seed out, you're going to deal with it for 7 more years. So weeds is a big issue organically as well.
Yet through it all, the team at Tanaza Organics gets their product out there and takes immense pride in what they see on the local shelves.
We kind of almost like food snobs when when we go to the grocery stores, we like to see what everyone else's product looks like and compare ours versus something that come out of California. And we take great pride in seeing our label and seeing the quality that we were able to deliver. We harvest today, and this product hits the distribution centers in 2 days, and it hits the stores in 3 or 4 days. So we're a lot quicker to get fresh produce in than something coming from California, Arizona during the winter, which is a 5 to 7 day ride. Once we got into it, we started realizing the benefits of farming organically, our soil, the health of our plants, how well they grow. So we got it from a profit standpoint, but now we're kind of believers in the regenerativeness of farming organically.
This polypipe irrigation makes life a little easier for the team. The pipe is not permanent and can be rolled up. It doesn't get damaged with equipment and can literally be driven over with a vehicle. But note, we said a little easier, not easy. That's because Murray wants us to know that his work is never easy.
No way. This is hard. It's refreshing, to be outside, and definitely like lunch, I take a walk with my dog and I enjoy myself. But at the same time, you're dealing with a business and you're dealing with Mother Nature and you're trying to pay your bills. So it's like anything else, it's stressful.
He adds you always have to keep your eye on the weather. I'm Tammy Arender for Texas Agriculture Matters.
Well, thanks, Tammy. You're the best. Hey, folks, today it's my pleasure to have Cesar Rodriguez joining us. Cesar's my good friend, and he's also the CEO and Chief Production Manager for Texas Green Star here in North Texas. Cesar, thanks for being with us today.
My pleasure, Commissioner.
Glad to have you here. So you've got quite an extensive background in agriculture, kind of a real interesting history. Tell us a little quick something about yourself.
I started basically when I was very young as a country boy, and I had the opportunity to come and go to Texas A&M, where I graduated in 1983. So I'm a proud Aggie. I went back to my country. I'm originally from Venezuela and started doing hydroponic on the controlled environment agriculture. And after many years, I was able to partner with one of the biggest fertilizer producers because of my knowledge on plant nutrition. And from that point on, I had been basically working with farmers on helping them how to use fertilizer properly, teaching them about basic concepts on plant nutrition, as well as proper use of fertilizer. So my business has been mainly on dealing with growers and helping them with the fertilizers.
One thing that I've always admired about you developed not only that, but you developed for specifically poorly developed agribusiness areas that are underdeveloped. So tell us about your experience with that and how you help in these local communities that are undeveloped.
Yeah, one of the biggest problems that the growers have is that they know very well their land, but they don't know their soil. So we encourage them to know their soil, to know what are the nutrients that the soil have, in order to really design a proper nutritional plan in order to get the best out of their land. I would say that the majority of the growers are basically dealing with NPK. So I call them that they keep their crops under a diet of NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. And I will encourage them to use not just nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, but all the micronutrients and secondary elements that the plants need.
Now, we've known each other, 4 years?
Yeah,
I've been up to your operation when you first started it about 4 years ago. I guess this probably be your fourth crop, I'm guessing, something like that.
Yeah, it will be our second commercial year.
Okay.
But since we started with COVID back in March 2020, so it was a challenge.
So it's the third full year. So tell us about Texas Green Star, what it is, where you're located. Yeah. And just tell us about your company that you've started up there.
Yeah, Texas Green Star is a 1.4 million square foot operation.
Say that again.
1.4 million.
1.4 million square feet. That's a lot of feet, people.
Yeah. Basically of leafy greens grown under hydroponic techniques using the nutrient film technique. We are located in Sanger, Texas, which is just 4 miles north of Denton, right on I-35. So everybody's welcome to visit our facility.
So you've got access to the full Metroplex for your market, I guess.
Yes. Our main market is the Metroplex, but believe it or not, we have been sending some of our crops to California.
Well, that's good, but you know, and we love selling stuff to California, but I'm a big proponent of getting locally grown food into our schools and into our communities. Why is that important?
It's very important because the freshness of the product guarantees that the nutritional concentration of the crops remains intact. Not to mention that also from food safety point of view, I mean, we can control better the distribution channels. The more you handle the crop, the more it is exposed to food safety issues. So being local and being able to harvest and deliver the same day is a big plus.
And I don't know how you do that. Yeah. That's amazing.
It's one of the most.
Have it on the shelf the same day or the next morning.
Yeah, well, because we are so close. I mean, 400 around us. We have about 63 million people, inhabitants.
Wow, that's
so
good. Well, folks, hey, we got to take a break, but we'll be right back with Cesar Rodriguez. We're going to learn more about Texas Green Star. Well, howdy, neighbors. Welcome back to Texas Agriculture Matters. I'm your host, Texas Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller. Now, let's continue our talk with Cesar Rodriguez, and he's with Texas Green Star. Now, Cesar, you mentioned you could grow 60 million leafy greens a year, right?
Correct.
So, tell us a little bit how you do that. How can you possibly grow that many? And you said you do it with hydroponics.
Correct.
Now, a lot of people may not quite understand what that is, but basically, you use no soil to grow your plants in. So give us some insight on how you can grow that many plants with no soil.
Right, we use PVC gutters, and it's a closed system where waters flow through gravity through the root system of the plants. So it's a recycling system, so we use very little amount of water. All of our water, by the way, is rainwater, so we don't use well water or sea water.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's very sustainable. And all the nutrients are dissolved in the water that basically run through the root system of the plants. So that's why we are able to grow basically all year round under controlled environment. So we control the temperatures. During the winter time, we use heater. During the summertime, we use evaporative cooling systems. And that's how, that's one of the biggest value proposition we offer to our clients, and we offer year-round production and high quality.
So you grow these in the water, it circulates, you've got all your nutrients in it.
Correct.
So when you harvest them, do the roots stay on it, or you send roots and all to the?
It depends on the client. There are clients that would ask, for example, our leafy green without a root system, but most of the retail market is asking for living crops, meaning that we harvest with a root system. We put a protective cap to avoid any debris from going into the container, and we pack them in PVC, containers,
I think that's just neat that a housewife can, and that'll just stay fresh.
Yes.
As long as she wants it to stay fresh.
You don't have to put it on the fridge.
It's like it's growing back in their house.
You can keep it outside, put it in a glass of water.
Put it in a glass of water, and it just keeps living.
Yeah.
That's fascinating to me.
Yeah.
So what y'all are doing, it's not a typical greenhouse operation. Those grow in soil or dirt. So this is hydroponics, but that does allow you to grow year-round.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So you can harvest every week of the year. Is that right?
Yeah, you can plan based on the demand from your clients. So we can plant every week, and every week we harvest, and we can also plant and grow a wide range of products, different type of lettuce, different type of leafy green herbs, etc. So yeah, the system allows you to plan according to the market's demand.
So 1 week you might be harvesting and planting at the same time.
We do it that's our routine. Every week we harvest and every week we plant.
That's amazing to me that you can do that, and that it really adds a lot of value to, because typical farmer, we harvest once, maybe twice a year, maybe 3 times if you live in the valley, but you harvest 52 weeks out of the year.
Correct.
And provide fresh produce to mainly the North Texas, and of course you have to send some to California. We can't let them starve, right?
And these are considered high-value crops, which I encourage our Texas farmers to start thinking about doing controlled environment agriculture, because that put them in a different level, especially if you have small farms.
Right.
I mean, in Texas, you have about 150,000 farmers that has less than 90, that makes less than $10,000 a year, at an average of 90 acres per farmer. And so their economic could really change just by having 1, 2, 3 acres on the controlled environment agriculture. So I will encourage our Texas farmers to start thinking about changing the traditional way of growing. Even, climate change is also making us think about that, because it's unpredictable what's going to happen.
Okay.
Well, you see what's happening in California.
Oh, absolutely.
In
when I first visited, before you started Texas Green Star, in the early stages with you and your partner Curtis Blackman, y'all were asked about the Go Texan program, our marketing program, and y'all are part of that. So tell our listeners what value you find in being a Go Texan member.
Wow, most of the retailers and food service company, the biggest in the United States, are asking for local produce. And the only way to identify that your product is local is by having the seal of Go Texan. So we're very proud of being a Go Texan, part of the Go Texan program. So I will encourage again, you don't have any idea how important it is to have a Go Texan, because that will help you penetrate the local market.
Pretty much tells every housewife that this is a locally grown product.
Correct.
It's fresh.
Yes.
And it's a Texas exclusive product.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to wrap up here, and you've been involved in agriculture all your life. Why do you think Texas agriculture matters?
Well, we are responsible for feeding the world, people. So that, if you don't have agriculture, how can we live? So the fact that we are the ones responsible for feeding the world makes it that important.
Well, thank you very much for being with us today. I look forward to coming back to your operation, Texas Green Star, and you've been an excellent guest. So thanks for what you do, and keep those greens coming.
It has been a pleasure, Commissioner.
All right, folks, now let's take another look at one of our great Go Texan partners. For over 20 years, the Texas Department of Agriculture's Go Texan program has helped promote products made right here in the Lone Star State. From boots to salsa, Go Texan members make the best stuff on earth. Now, friends, let's take a look at one of these fine Texas businesses and why they are Go Texan proud.
Go Texan every day.
Smo Better Food Company originally started as a spice company. We started with our Rabbi Rub. That was our original product, and we've expanded to many things like Jew Cub Rub, Texas Rose Rub, salt, pepper, garlic. We now have jerky. We now have salsa, cocktail rimmers, and I think that's it. I got into this from my husband. He's been a chef for about 25 years. He's been doing catering, and he uses this rub on catering all the time. And so every time he did a catering gig, he was told, you need to bottle this and sell it. He said, all right, he'll do it. He made the recipe, and then I take care of everything else. Ours is unique because we use the finest quality spices. We have unique proportions, unique ingredients, and that's mostly what we do. We try and give the customers something that works, that doesn't overpower the food, gives it a lot of flavor, so you can actually taste the meat or the fish under the spice. So that's his main goal for making all these is that it's a good experience for the customers. So the naming of the products came from my husband. He's a chef and a rabbi. So the rub is called Rabbi Rub because he's a rabbi and he created the rub. And my daughter is the Jew Cub Rub. She was 10 when we made the Jew Cub Rub. She was watching him do all of these spices and mixes in the kitchen, just trying things out and seeing how it goes. And she goes, I want to make one. And we're like, yeah, you're 10. You know, you're 10. So here's all the stuff, but we have to make a math lesson out of it. So you have to make a recipe with proportions and measurements and all this kind of stuff. So she made 2 rubs with doing all of that stuff. And her rub that she made when she was 10 is our best seller. So what makes it a Texas rub is my husband made this particular spice for me. I love mole sauce. And so he took all the ingredients from mole sauce and made a rub out of it. And so it's a little Texican, we call it. And it's got a little bit of rose hip in there because he likes to bring me flowers. So every day I have a rose hip. You can get them online at our website. You can also get them in our store. We have a gourmet market here in Terrell, so you can get them anywhere. Also, we're now in HEB in Plano and also Frisco. It is important to be a Go Texan member because they really support small Texas companies and large ones as well. We want to do everything in Texas. So our co-packers in Texas, our spice makers here, our jerky maker is here. So, and also our bags are made here as well in Austin. So we really wanted to make sure that everything was as much Texan as we could possibly get it. And I really think the Department of Agriculture does a really good job supporting Texas businesses. So I wanted to be a part of that. I'm Susan from Smell Better Food Company, and we are Go Texan proud.
Well, neighbors, thank you for joining us for another episode of Texas Agriculture Matters. Hey, I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about Texas vegetables. Here in Texas, as always, we have some kind of produce available all the time. Our versatile growing seasons provide the nation with fresh vegetables and fill important gaps in international production. So, grab some Texas-grown produce and try your hand at cooking new recipes that includes lots of these vegetables. As always, I'd like to close by saying thanks to every Texas farmer and rancher who works from sunrise to sunset to help keep our rural heritage alive. Finally, here's today's cowboy logic. Hey, if you want to run with the big dogs, you're going to have to get out from under the porch. Thank you. God bless. And remember, friends, Texas agriculture matters.